against Poland. It's half-time in Katowice. It's Poland 0, it's England 0, and as we've been saying, if you've been with us on BBC One, it's been all Poland in that first half. Bobby Charlton and Jimmy Hill here with us to, we hope, enjoy the second half. But Jimmy, Shilton had a marvellous time in that first half, but it was chances all the way for Poland. Let's have a look at one or two of them, shall we?
Yes, it was a first-class goalkeeping performance, but also a first-class shooting performance. I mean, they were nearly all from distances. This is a left-foot one. He was allowed too much space here. Bob and I were talking, you know, they're chasing back to try and cover him, but no one's getting out to him. Look, they get out too late. There are three players there, any one of whom could have closed that ground. But look at that, a left-handed save. That was hooking inside the post there, and he only got it with the end of his fingers.
Yeah.
There wasn't much.
It was fingernails almost, that
Indeed,
one, isn't it?
yeah,
Just about
yeah.
tipped it away.
So, I mean, that was bad defence, because they were letting him run at the ball, and we had men to spare there to go towards him. And he was allowed to run, what, 10 yards to the left there without being closed.
At the start of the programme on BBC One earlier, we picked out the Celtic player, Czekanowski, who's been playing really well. And we were saying, weren't we, that he's a man in form, and he certainly looked it today. This was the second good chance for them, and he was involved.
Goal scorers, when they're, you know, as fluent as this guy, he's the one that comes in with a header, a good cross, pulled back square, and look at that. Shilton's rushing back into the goal and runs into the ball. And as Trevor Brooking said, if he'd put it back the other way where he'd come from, he'd had no chance whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's desperate stuff, and every England player, almost without exception, looks leaden-footed.
Well, Bobby, you used to hit them from a few yards, and this guy, Tchaikovsky, interesting name, has been hitting him from a few yards too. So let's perhaps ask you to pick up these efforts.
Well, the England players always seem a little lethargic in midfield. They think to go there is enough, but running onto a ball like that, a big lad who obviously can clout it, you know, it's dangerous, and we've been giving them far too much space. The pitch is nice, it's nice and smooth, they feel confident in shooting. Maybe there's a little bit of grease on it as well, so it's going to be very skiddy and difficult for the goalkeeper. And they've tried the best, you know, to utilise it to the full. But England have given them so much space and time.
Same guy again.
Again here, we've got plenty of players, but none of them does anything positive and tries to actually win the ball. And a lot of space and then a chip to the far post, bent round, very difficult for Peter Shilton. Fortunately, he's in top form and was able to push it away. But given far too much space to these players. And they're not bad players, they'll capitalise if we're not careful.
Yeah, we haven't seen much up front from England, Jim.
No, Peter Beardsley's having one of those days again, where his sort of delicate little passes are just going to
when he's off, they're off, as you said at the beginning.
And there's nothing else. Lineker's control is not exceptional when he's surrounded by a number of players. They really have given us a football lesson in every department. The mystery of it is, and it's not the first time, that when England have been together for a number of days, they seem to come out asleep.
Shouldn't have that Saturday off, you reckon?
Well, we can have a look at the one player who has looked lively and has looked, Waddle.
Yeah.
He had the possibility of breaking through on two occasions, put a bad cross, and then put a very good cross for the second one, which very nearly brought the goal. But he was there to go past people, and he did it beautifully. And this was a subtle cross. He chips it up very high, beats the keeper with it, you see. Can only get the end of his fingers, and there's Lineker claiming that he was pushed, or is it Brian Robson there? It's Brian Robson there,
yeah.
Captain Marvel in on the far post, trying to get into a goal-scoring position, claiming he was pushed. But that was the one time when one of our players has looked fresh and fit, and in the same league as the Poles. We were saying beforehand, or I was, that we, to them, are the glamour team. They're the ones that have showed the glamorous football in that half.
Indeed.
I don't think that they can believe how bad England are actually in the space that they're given. We're all playing as individuals, and when you get an individual, a good individual like Waddle, he can really perform. But everything seems to be just as individuals. There's been no build-up. There's been no pattern of play. They've given possession away so easily that I bet the Poles can't believe how easy it's been.
Well, they're putting the wind up us, aren't they, Bob? Really, because we desperately need that point. Otherwise, you've got to rely on other teams in the group and other groups. You know, it all get a little untidy.
We always seem to have to go to the last match, and we're all biting our fingernails, you know, and they could make it so much easier if that attitude was right from the beginning, and they got about it. Because they're a far superior team to the Poles. We've got better players, but the attitude just doesn't seem right at the moment.
Bob, you can't say that on the first half in the way that they played. The Polish skills were so much better than ours in the way that they played. To say we're superior, can be superior to them, we haven't shown it, have we?
Well, my opinion, Jimmy, is that they're better players. And if we try as hard bad as them and we play together as well as them, then we'll beat them easily because we are superior. We're giving them too much space and time, and we are playing as individuals. We have to get together, and we got up together, back together, and make sure that we make it as difficult as we possibly can for them, because at the moment we're making it too easy.
Jack had the answer, saying that when his team played badly in the first half, they were over-motivated.
Yeah,
That's very clever, that is.
It's a good line, that is.
Bobby will copy him, but they were over-motivated, so they couldn't.
Let's pull away from England just for a second, Bob, and ask you to give us the latest news from Old Trafford, because you've been involved in all the business there over the last few weeks very much. What's happened? Is Knighton pulling out now, or what?
Well, it's been Manchester United has been in the spotlight so much. You know, it's nice to be able to say that it seems as though that Michael Knighton isn't going ahead with his purchase of the club, and it's back to normal. And I'm glad that we can get back to a bit of normality.
What does that mean, Bob? Does it, Martin Edwards will remain as chairman?
Yes, he'll stay as chairman, and Michael Knighton will come on the board. And we'll have to see how it goes from there. But
are you happy with Michael Knighton coming on the board?
I'm happy that the club has stabilised. Yes. But I'm glad that